The night hung heavy over the little town of Duskwood, where lanterns burned low and the dust of the day still floated like ghosts. Across the dirt road, the saloon had gone quiet, the laughter replaced by the creak of a sign swaying in the cold wind. Out beyond the last wooden fence, a small woman walked barefoot, clutching a torn shawl around her thin shoulders. Her name was Clara Mayfield, and life had been nothing but a long winter for her. She had buried her husband 2 years back after a mining accident, and now fought each sunrise to feed her 6-year-old boy, Eli, with nothing but faith and a handful of prayer. That night, Clara's heart pounded faster than her footsteps. She was not walking home. She was running from something darker. Men from the saloon had followed her after. She refused their filthy offer for a night's stay. Her small cabin had no lock strong enough to keep them away. She knew she couldn't make it alone through the dark plains. Then she heard it, the sound of hooves echoing through the still air, steady and strong, like thunder announcing hope. A tall figure on horseback appeared against the moonlight, his broad shoulders, the long brown duster flapping behind him, the glint of a revolver at his side. It was Rhett Lawson, the rancher from the northern hills. Folks said he was a man of few words, a wanderer with eyes that carried more loss than most hearts could bear. But tonight, to Clara, he looked like salvation carved out of shadow. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling as she stepped into the road. The horse stopped, and Rhett leaned slightly forward, his piercing blue eyes meeting hers beneath the brim of his hat. "Ma'am?" he asked, cautious. Clara clutched Eli close and said, "Please, be my husband, just for tonight." The words hung between them, fragile, almost foolish. Rhett blinked once, his jaw tightening. "Ma'am, you don't know what you're asking," he said slowly. But the desperation in her eyes stopped him cold. Behind her, he saw movement, 3 silhouettes creeping out from the dark, the same men she'd run from. Their laughter slithered through the wind. She swallowed hard. "They'll come again. If they see a woman alone with a child, they'll take everything I have left. Please, sir, just pretend. Let them think you're mine." For a moment, time froze. Rhett looked at the small boy hiding behind her skirt, clutching a toy horse carved out of wood. He sighed through his nose and tipped his hat lower. "Get behind me," he said. The men came close, swaggering and smirking. "Evenin', rancher," one sneered. "Didn't know you took in strays?" Rhett's voice turned iron cold. "This woman's under my roof now. You'll ride on before I count to 3. The men exchanged looks. But there was something about the way Rhett's hand rested near his holster that made their courage shrivel. They spat curses but turned and rode off into the dark, their laughter fading into the wind. When the silence settled again, Clara's knees nearly gave out. Rhett caught her before she fell, steadying her gently. "You're safe now," he said, his tone softer. "Come, you and the boy can stay at my ranch till morning." They rode together through the moonlit plains. Clara sat behind him on the saddle, clutching Eli close, her face pressed against Rhett's back, feeling the warmth of a man's steadiness for the first time in years. The rhythm of the horse's hooves felt like a heartbeat, strong, dependable, alive. When they reached his ranch, Rhett helped her down, leading her to a warm room with a small fire crackling. He gave Eli a blanket and poured Clara some coffee. She watched the flames dance, her eyes wet with exhaustion and something she couldn't name. "Thank you," she whispered. Rhett nodded. "You don't owe me thanks, ma'am. Just rest." But as the fire flickered low, neither of them truly slept. For the first time in years, the lonely rancher and the broken mother found themselves under one roof, not by chance, but perhaps by fate's quiet design. Dawn crawled over the plains like a golden tide, washing away the darkness but not the memories it carried. Clara awoke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Rhett chopping wood outside. Eli giggled by the window, watching him. There was something peaceful, almost safe, about the sight of that man working in the sun, his shirt damp with sweat, every swing of his axe steady and sure. She had told herself this was only for one night. Yet her heart already feared the morning. She had seen kindness before, but never like this. Not since her husband, not since love meant safety. When Rhett stepped inside, he nodded politely, setting down firewood. "You sleep all right?" he asked. "Yes," Clara replied softly. "Better than I have in months." Eli beamed and added, "Mr. Rhett, are you my new pa?" The word struck her like a tremor, but Rhett only smiled faintly and said, "No, son, just a friend who helps when needed." But as the morning stretched on, that line between help and heart began to blur. Rhett taught Eli how to feed the horses, his big hands guiding the boy's small ones. Clara watched from the porch, the wind playing with her hair, wondering why a stranger's presence felt more like home than the cabin she'd lived in for years. By noon, the peace broke. The same men from the night before rode up the hill shouting. "Lawson," one called. "We ain't done with that woman." Rhett's jaw set like stone. He told Clara to take Eli inside and then walked out to meet them. They circled, 3 against 1, hands resting on their guns. The leader spat in the dirt. "We don't take kindly to lies, rancher. That woman's ours to deal with." Rhett's voice was calm but deadly. "She's not yours. She never was. You'll ride off and leave her be, or you'll ride off in a box." The tension snapped like a whip. One man reached for his gun, but Rhett was faster. A single shot echoed across the plains. Dust rose, horses neighed, and when the smoke cleared, the outlaws were gone, 1 wounded, 2 fleeing in fear. Clara ran out, trembling. "Are you hurt?" Rhett shook his head. "No, ma'am. Just tired of bad men thinking they can own good souls." Her tears came silently. For years she had fought her battles alone. Now for once someone had stood for her. Not for money, not for gain, just because it was right. That evening, as the sun set over the hills, Clara and Eli prepared to leave. "We'll go now," she said softly. "You've done more than enough." Rhett looked down, then nodded. "You'll always have a place here," he said simply. She turned away, but her voice broke. "And you'll always have a piece of my gratitude, and maybe my heart." He didn't answer, but when she mounted the horse with her boy, his eyes followed them until they were just shadows against the orange sky. Months later, Clara's small shop in town began to bloom again. People whispered about the widow who found her courage back, and every once in a while a tall man on horseback would ride by, tip his hat and smile, no words needed. Because sometimes a single night of kindness can last a lifetime.